This May, Kingstree, South Carolina becomes a place of remembrance and reflection. Join us for a powerful two-day commemoration marking the 60th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s 1966 call to march on ballot boxes. Together, we honor the past, examine the promise, and shape the future. Friday, May 8th and Saturday, May 9th, 2026. For more information, contact C. Williams Rush at 803-397-1859.
They say freedom isn't free. And tonight, as we look upon this simple table and remember the ones who paid the price but never came home, this is the missing man table. Each piece tells a story. The small table, for one, symbolizes the isolation of our prisoners of war. The white cloth represents the purity of their service, their willingness to answer the call. The single red rose reminds us of families who still wait year after year, hoping for word of their loved ones' return. The lemon is bitter, just like their fate. The salt, the tears of those left behind. The glass is inverted. The chair left empty because they are not here. But their spirit remains. Their sacrifice endures. Here in Andrews, South Carolina, we're doing something powerful, something historic. We're building a POW MIA monument, one of only a few in the entire state of South Carolina, to honor those who were taken and those who never returned, a place where generations can come to learn, reflect, and remember, a place where their stories live on. But we can't do it alone. We need your help, your donations, your support, your voice to bring this monument to life. Every dollar brings us one step closer to honoring our heroes right here at home. So join us, be a part of history. Donate to the POW Monument of Andrews, South Carolina. For those still missing, for those who never came home, for those we will never forget.
All right, guys. I just want to welcome you into Andrews the Podcast, Real Talk Tuesday. Good evening, sir. I apologize. I'm running late today. A lot going on. I was up. I do apologize for how I'm dressed. I'm usually not in this kind of attire, but
I'm feeling I'm underdressed here, partner. I need to step away from the camera and get my jacket.
No, it's okay. I was doing some freelance instructing on some drone classes. And
okay,
so, I'm always asked to dress, appropriately. So, but anyway, welcome. Good evening. How are you doing today, sir?
Hey, doing well. Still trying to get back in the swing of thing after the long holidays, and it was so much going on around the world and locally. It just has been overwhelming for to be quite honest with you. Trying to get my mind around. I said, what do we talk about tonight? What's hot, and things just start popping up. So this morning I spent a long time just looking at the national level thing, because so much of it involved what I did for most of my adult life, and so I'm interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I then when I got to work, I had to break it back down and say, okay, you got your own challenges here to focus on. So we'll talk a little bit about all that tonight. I think because it brings some perspective, I believe, to our audience in terms of that macro level thing that's happened that does have impact down at this level. We just can't get around it. And of course, today is that 5th anniversary of the little situation we had in Washington, D.C. So a lot of things happen.
That's what I was missing today. I'm like, what happened today? Like, what? I'm supposed to be somewhere today. Oh man.
So it's a lot,
Yeah,
So,
And on the national, man, I'm going to speak a little bit because there's a story surrounding this young autistic man that um I really got to spend some time in it. Because I'm confused by what by what's going on. Because like you said, there's a lot going on nationally, um, locally. First of all, Happy New Year, everybody! Welcome,
Happy New Year.
To a new year with us.
I don't think we've done anything since Christmas, huh?
I know, and it's just been it's been rolling. I think this is it's the 250th anniversary of the United States, so there's a revolutionary spirit in the air.
Absolutely. That's happening too.
And so, but yeah, it's just been a lot has been going on, and congratulations to everybody that was sworn in over here in the last couple of days. Um, we got two returning councilmen and a new councilman, Mr. Gary, who I definitely invite to come on. He's also the director over at the YMCA.
That's right.
In Andrews. So, yeah, very, very key figure in the community.
Definitely. Yeah, and Mr. Gary, I've said it before, he's going to bring a perspective of, our responsibility here around town and abroad, respect to our youth. He spent a lot of time with our young teenagers, especially the young men. We talked about this on a few other shows, but we have him here now. And so then as we continue to evolve, if you will, and revitalize and do things differently, we have to do that with our youth in mind. And so I know he's going to bring that aspect of his experience here with us and the school. So, he spent time in the school system at Rosemary as an instructor. And so a lot of things, good is going to come from him being on the council. So we look forward to serving with him.
No doubt. So, I mean, on the immediate front, let's deal with some business in Andrews. I think you guys are dealing with some situations. Let me see here, and I'll tell you what. Let me play this message for you guys, and then we'll come back talking with that. If you would, Alexia Cleckley just liked my page. That's the young lady that just went off for 20 points in the second quarter of the game I went to.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Ball player.
No doubt. All right, so yeah, let me play this, and we'll come back and we'll get into kind of set that up for me real fast. What are we going to be talking about?
A couple of things I want to address tonight. Again, with respect to the town, again, we have we can keep looking up and observing what's going on at the national level, but things that affect us right here is a couple of things I wanted to first introduce the new council member, and then the returning council members, which is Councilwoman Angela Anderson. She's coming back, she's been serving for a long time, so a wealth of knowledge there. And of course, our current serving Mayor Pro Tem Eddie Lee got reelected, so he's back in. And then in January, this month, our first meeting, we will go through the process of selecting the Mayor Pro Tem for the next 2 years. So that's going to happen. So I wanted to get that out, and also wanted to recognize Chief Stamper, who has been serving on our all-volunteer force since 1972. Chief is going to retire here in a month or so. He's working with us, until we can go through the process of hiring a new chief, but he's going to retire and go do some things that are fun. And as I told him, I don't believe he's going to go too far away, because it's certainly in his DNA to be a firefighter and to respond. So it'll be interesting to see him trying to turn his phone off and not respond in the future. But we're going to begin that search here in a week or so, and get that process done, then so we can release him to go and have some fun and enjoy time with his family. So I want to get that out, and the big thing with respect to our part of our infrastructure. And again, we still have infrastructure projects ongoing. Most of them you can't see now because that portion that's done. We still have to do some manholes. We got some work to do up on the main collection point in terms of installing that meter. And we were just very fortunate to get two more grants, one for think it's $230,000 for to install a new lift station or work on that issue we had at AT&T, and then a little over $750,000 for our streetscape. So we'll begin to start now focusing on developing from.
You mean to tell me you couldn't get the roads together without the money? You have to get the money first.
Money first, my friend. So we've been blessed again to get those two, and this will come in, and we'll start working on from Morgan back west along Main Street, revitalizing that again to get it, much like what we have between Rosemary and Morgan. So that's to come. That has to be developed. That's when you get the money in, when the shovel starts to turn, it's probably about 6 months to 8 months later, or if not longer. So that's happening. The thing I wanted to address tonight, let me
take care of some of these sponsors real fast, and
okay, you gotta get paid, I believe. Okay,
and we get back to that.
Step into a night where elegance meets purpose. The 5th annual Keep the Beat Masquerade Gala is coming soon. Dress in your finest attire and mask for an unforgettable evening of music, celebration, and heart-healthy awareness. This is more than a gala, it's a movement. Tickets are limited, so secure yours today and be part of a night that truly keeps the beat.
All right, and that's something that we're going to talk a lot more about. Just want to kind of get that out there, but major event. But we'll get to that. Okay, so listen, we'll talk a little bit more about that tonight.
Yes,
because that's big. That's coming up.
And I'll tell you, I know we'll get into it, but it's. I've talked to 2 people about this event. This will be my third time going to this gala. I actually sit on the board for the organization, and it's essentially it's an organization that provides screening for high school athletes, junior high school athletes, or college. Because what's happening, and we're still doesn't seem like we're paying enough attention to, is this sudden cardiac arrest. So athletes just collapsing on the field without any warning, and so through this organization and the CEO of the organization, Ms. Lakeisha Benson, out of Seneca, this is her fundraiser here again to get money to go out and screen these kids across South Carolina, and I think she's done some work out in Florida and Georgia. The bottom line is this sudden cardiac arrest is happening frequently. Just talked to a young man in Blythe, I think. Where does Marcus?
And he's up at Denmark.
Yeah, he just had an experience with one of his athletes, and he was fortunate to get there and save him. And as I was talking to another one of the elected officials in Bishopville, her friend's kid wasn't so lucky that the young lady died while out there. So we got to talk about this thing, try to get involved, get our kids screened before they get out here and start playing sports. That should be a requirement. And I know exams are required. They got to do a physical, but I'm not so sure they're doing this testing to see if there's any issues with these athletes' heart. And so that's a big deal. And again, we'll talk more about it, but I want to give folks a flavor just in case we get too long-winded in other areas. This is something we need to pay attention to. And the last Saturday of every February, this gala through the NOLA Network is put on through Ms. Benson and her team up in Seneca. And a lot of elected officials go up there and support her. And there'll be ways to donate and get involved, come be a part of it. It's a great event. And some really, really heartfelt stories of people, experiencing this thing way too often. So we got to get ahead of this. But that's what this is about right here now. And again, we can talk more about it later.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so that's it. All right. So I got a video, and I think, earlier, we spoke about some situations with the sewer and people putting things down in the sewer. So I'm going to play this video right here. And then on the other end of that, I want you to come in and kind of tell us what, what you got going on the ground in Andrews?
Okay.
What kind of issues that we're dealing with? Let me find
Okay.
the screen here. There it is. Let me share it there. Hey, listen, y'all buckle up, man. We got a lot to talk about tonight. If you happen to gotta go to work, you know what I mean, just catch the replay in the morning. But before you do, have some respect. Show a little respect in the new year and hit that like button. All right, you've been around here for this long now. I mean, you ain't dropped nothing in the collection, please. So just hit the like button. Okay, and here we go.
Hi, I'm Eric at the Thumbnail Ranch, and we're going to clean another sewer line. This is a clean out plug.
Just tell me to pause
Most
it if you
houses
want
have
me to.
them. If they
Okay.
don't,
Yeah, because it's a long one and we can skip through.
show it to them.
But yeah, let's hear him out these first couple minutes.
Okay. And of
On
course,
this video, because this is a straightforward sewer line clean.
All right, what are our symptoms?
Washer's backed up, toilet's backed up, toilet runs into the tub. Nothing in the house will leave because it all comes through this opening right here. You see it
Well, let's
starting.
freeze it right
I've got
there.
water running in the house, and
Okay.
it's starting to fill up this line right now.
Okay, so what? And probably most folks know this, but we'll go through it anyway. What he's showing you right now is what is called a clean out. So every home should have, as a part of your sewer system, should have this pipe, this access point, maybe a foot or two from your house or somewhere in your yard, that if you have a clog or a backup, you can, take a snake, and that's just some kind of a rod to unclog the pipe. And we'll talk a little bit more about what causes this thing, especially during the winter, which is what we're being challenged with right now in town. We're getting a lot of calls of code 3 and there's sewer backup, and we'll talk about what's causing that, but you'll hear some of it through this video.
code
what
3
you
is a sewer backup.
Code 3 is a sewer backup. And so with these clean out, and again, this is an old town, we've been around for a long time. All the homes should have one, and there should be one close to the edge of the property, so the town can have access to it, and clear their line if that's where the blockage is. But this one right here is up close by the house, is what he's talking about, and he'll kind of walk you through the method of unclogging, and it's very difficult in many cases. Okay.
As we've been standing here, this water has been rising. Let's just let it rise up a little bit until we get it to the top.
Right now we
Why are you on a lag?
Yeah. So what you see here, this is a little bit of
have a
advanced
half plate,
technology
and we're gonna.
with this. This is what they call a mechanical snake. Well, a snake, but this one is motorized. You have the mechanical ones, just free without, just a lot of muscle trying to unclog the block. But this right here is actually power generated, and should help a lot better, especially if you hit a root or have some, a clog that's been here for a long time that really requires some force and some special edges on the end of this thing. And so you'll see that here as he demonstrated. Okay.
I'll put a full blade on.
We only use a half blade, the last line. We did was damaged, and we couldn't get a full blade through it.
Come on.
So it's buffered a lot tonight, huh?
Oh my goodness.
The old lines are Orangeburg. Instead of being round, what they'll do is they'll squeeze down.
Come on.
And we-
Let's see.
And I'll cover this part. We may advance a little bit to where he's actually going through the operation of unblocking the cloud.
Okay.
Okay.
Just tell me where to stop.
You can go a little further. Okay, that's good. So you better run there. And I was kind of talking about what he's done. He's inserted this thing And the whole idea is to continue to, if he can manually break the clog, but if not, then he'll start with the actual power snake that'll work through that.
Do you have a lot of licensed plumbers in Andrew?
No, that's a good question. We don't have a lot unless they're not listed. Now, a lot of folks say, because they have worked in plumbing at some point in time.
No, I'm talking licensed plumber.
Not in town. So you'll see Roto-Rooter come in or ARS. There's a couple of guys, I think in the Georgetown area, and maybe one or two here, but licensed and active license, no, and that's what's required. You should have before you have them out here working on your system.
And parents of young boys and girls looking for a trade. It's a nasty job. It's a dirty job. But what would something like this cost for somebody to come out and do that? I don't even know, but I'm telling you right now, I'm charging you about $350, $400.
Well, wait, just for a plumber, last time I checked, for a plumber to show up, that's $125.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, just to come out and do an assessment of what's going on, and then from that point, then whatever severity of your issue in his time, you'd have to look how he has his drop, his fee schedule. But it could get very expensive, and you're right. And if you'll be properly dressed and all that stuff. You say it's nasty because you're dealing with waste, but you got to be better protected than what this guy. He has gloves on, but you should have him.
He would hit some resistance, and it's not.
I mean,
far.
but and I mean,
because the sewer line's right there in the street.
a lot of people are going to miss this right here, what I'm about to say, but the truth is, money itself is dirty, nasty, just like filthy, like, you know what I mean? So
that's true.
That's, I'm not saying that's going to be comparison. That's that bread right there, man. That's
and believe it or not, I think that traders, a lot of folks are getting interested in it now because they're starting to hear others talk about it. But real quick, what you see here, kind of a freeze shot. You saw the guy, he inserted the rod, the cable into the manhole, and the objective is to push whatever that clog is out towards the road.
We're not going to go for.
Okay, so he's going to push it all the way out. You see the manhole there.
I guess this is probably those trees, and there we are. We hit.
And you heard what he said, they're probably trees. So you can have roots in your yard. It can be some kind of cloth or something put down your toilet that doesn't dissolve.
Okay, just let it chew on for a minute.
All those things cause it. And you'll see when he begin to extract this thing, all of the
to get it to engage into the root. See how it's bubbling? Okay, we're through that spot. Just keep feeding it till it.
And so that metal rod, he's just feeding it through.
Because on the end of it, he has some cutters. He has cutters, so that cutter is designed to break up anything. And if there's a small roots, it'll cut through that. If it's rag, and it'll get it wrapped around that cable. And then as he extracts it out, you'll see here in a minute. It's amazing what's coming out of this manhole. I've watched this a little bit.
So he's sending it back toward the house or toward the road.
Well, in this case, as you can either push it forward into the sewer system, but in this case, it's the way it turns. It's now wrapping. If it's a cloth or some kind of foreign object that doesn't want dissolved, it's really getting wrapped around this thing, and he'll pull it out, which is best for us too, because we don't want that rag or those things going into the main system, because now it will cause what we're dealing with right now to destroy the blades on the pumps at the big station, and that's about a $20,000 pump that gets burned up when you start seeing some of the stuff that comes out of this clean out here. And you can't hold anybody accountable because everybody's on the sewer system.
That was my next question. Is there a way to pinpoint where it comes from?
Nope. Very difficult. And so you get rags, you get female products, you get hand wipes. None of that stuff dissolves. And so it becomes just now a part of this problem that's developing down there that's created this blockage. So your sewer won't go out. It actually come back into your house, into your sink, your bathtub, anywhere that, wherever the path of least resistance is coming back.
And that's when the local news shows up.
Yeah. And see here, you see that those are baby wipes. Baby wipes do not dissolve. And so that's what happened. That's just a small part of it. So you'll see when he pulled out the rest of this stuff. And it's just amazing. It's not going to get, that's a 4-inch pipe, and it's not going to make it.
Cable stop spanner. These things will beat you to death. Take it off and it's Chevrolet. Oops, here's another one.
It's not recommended to flush baby wipes.
And we got some roots. Okay, they're going to be
Wow.
Now watch this stuff.
heavy enough where we're going to have to go in with a half blade and cut them out. And
See,
then
all that's
vacuum.
around there, that's roots and
All right.
and
So the question is, who is that? The city or is that the citizen? How does that work out?
so simply put, if it's in there, it's coming. The only way that could be any a part of the city's problem, if there's a pumps are not working, you have this overflow, heavy pour down of rain, and all of the systems are overwhelmed, and then you will get some feedback or silt water coming back into your system. That rarely happens. That's when we have these big storms. This is stuff coming out through that house into that line, and then the rest of it here to talk about here is the roots, which is
Okay,
freezing your yard.
we're root
And so are you saying in your yard? That means that'll be on the customer.
Yeah, anything on your property, anything on that
Now, first blade, we
customer's
couldn't get
property
it through.
is
We're
their
gonna have to go in and cut a
responsibility.
pilot hole. And again, remember I said make your blade sweep. Go to the back side of the clean out.
So he realized that he's now dealing with roots, so he changed the blade on it
If you
to
put your
something sharper that's going to cut through these roots.
But I mean, if you got that, then there's raw
Cable
sewage
right
leaking
milk
into
and
the
shove
ground
out,
right there
it'll
because
go the
the
opposite way.
pipes.
Well, not necessarily. The pipes are still intact.
Hmm.
So you have the PVC pipes. Yeah, they're not easily. If you got clay pipes and that stuff, chances are you have some busted lines. But if it's a
Just
clay
going, which
pipe
is what
and
we
you don't
want.
have anything
If
that's
it leaned this way,
busted through
we'd
it,
be going into the house, which is what we
it
don't.
can withstand this. And what it is, it's coming back up through the clean out and in your house.
Hmm.
And you'll see that water when you'll see the breakthrough right now, and you're still feeding water into it to help. Once that water starts to disappear and subside, then you'll know that's now they're starting to have some success
The
getting
water's
through.
moving.
Yeah, but right now you're going to have to continue to plunge.
What's feeding that water?
It's coming out, so they have them turn on their. I think in this case, they had them turn water on in the bathtub.
Okay.
So everything drains down into this. So your bath water, your dishwater, all that stuff comes into here, which is how a lot of the grease gets in. If you're not, some people are just pouring grease down the sink. Others think that, well, if I don't pour grease, it's not getting in there. No, all of your plates and pots, those things that have grease, it's still every little bit counts. And so then when you get to the winter time, like now, grease in cold weather starts forming a mass. And then it depends on how much is in there. And when it comes winter time, it all starts to collect. And you think about it, now you have
Stop now. Stick your hand in the hole.
sanitation napkins, you have hand wipes that doesn't dissolve, and everything now becomes this big block. And it won't move by itself. And when it freezes, all of that stuff becomes just very difficult. And then every time you flush, drain, everything is now backing up and eventually will come into your house and you got waste in your toilet. I mean, in your bathtub and sink, if it makes you back up into your sink.
Pull. And it'll come back. You go back into that spot repeatedly. Now you see.
And so we're about to end of this, and I think since you a diagram, just kind of help see what's happening.
Stick the camera in there. Listen.
All right, let me get to that diagram.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've hit the clog and it's now clear. Go ahead and
We-
bring the
wow.
electric
Got a
cars.
break there.
Put your washing machine into spin. Okay, we're going to go another 10 feet or so past the clog. We don't want to go too far because we'll end up into the bigger line. but you can tie a cable up in there, and that's not fun. So basically, unless you know your line real well, you just probably go about another 10, 15 feet past your clog, unless you know it's a long line, and go the length of what you know the line is going to be. We're going to pull out, we're going to put the full blade in, and we're going to see if we can get more of these roots out now.
And so when Roto-Rooter comes out, that's about $300 automatically.
That's why they call them Roto-Rooter.
Yeah. And ARS, and I don't remember what the acronym is for, but they same service, same type service. And when those guys come out, you're going to pay, and then they'll run a camera. They'll do all the nice high-speed stuff to let you see it. They'll run a camera down there, and they'll let you see if you have any roots or anything else that's going to cause you problems after that. So really what this design show you real quick is how it's really laid out. So you have your home, obviously. This shows your sanitation sewer line. You show the storm drain, which belongs to the state. And and so they all have their own pipe system. So sewer should not be going in the storm drain. If that's happening, that's a problem, because now that's going to get back out into the waterways, and you have a big problem. And DES is going to come pay you a visit. But it comes out, if you follow that gray line, which in our case, all sewer lines should be green, water lines are blue. And so that pipe that's coming out of the house, that's where your sewer should flow, and on down into the bigger system, which is the town system. You see the access point for the manhole. Typically, if there's not a clean out, if there's only one clean out, we can go to the manholes, pop a manhole on either side of the house. If the water levels are down, everything flowing, it's obvious that now wherever that clog is, somewhere between that pipe and the road, and you see where the grass stops and where the sidewalk begins, that's the property line. So anything from that property line back to the house is the owner's responsibility to clear out. Now, some people will think, and we had this conversation today with some of our guys, is that, well, the clog now is, here on the other side of the sidewalk. Well, guess where it came from? It came from you. You caused that, and you're the only one is still blocked up. That is still your responsibility to get it to that system so it's flowing out and moving on to where it needs to go to be treated. And again, this issue becomes even a bigger problem December, January, February, those cold months where there's other things going on, and it doesn't take you pouring, a gallon of grease down, in January. This thing is starting to build up over time because it's not going to flow, especially if you don't have the best, gravity system. If your line is not, installed properly, then everything is going to kind of settle there. Sewer is meant to.
I remember you. We talked about a while ago about you guys were implementing a policy with the restaurants as far as the grease. How has that been going?
Yeah, that still stands. I think it's time now for an inspection. And I've got the guys now. We're being a little bit more proactive because you're not going to stop it all. It's going to get in there. So what we have to do, we have key points along our system, especially on the side where McDonald's and Food Line, that area, there's a few restaurants on that side. And so that's where we have the problems, and typically about January timeframe. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, make sure that it's not a buildup. There's a substance that I think we call it heat or red. I think it's heat. And you pour not much of it. You can pour it into your system, into your manhole, and it kind of helps dissolve any issues to keep things flowing. So we treat
that was another question I was going to ask. Is there a recommended some kind of microbial, thing that you can pour down there? I know
everybody know Drano.
Okay,
but there's other products out there. If you go down to Track Supply, they have quite a few different items on there. Some of it is
Track Supply, shameless plug. Just no.
Yeah, so those guys can help, and again, consult with your plumber. I don't, again, we don't know what type pipes they have. Get with your plumber; they'll advise you one certified, because we deal, as you can see, that's a 4-inch line that goes to the house. Our lines now anywhere from 6 to 8 inches. So we deal with kind of the industrial size line. So, they can withstand stronger substance that you pour into these sewer systems that again help to keep this thing moving to where it's supposed to. One thing I put up there, and we don't have to show it, but if you're having a problem, you don't know the grade, whether you have a good, slant, if you will, for lack of a better term, on your line, it doesn't flow.
A fall.
Get your grinder pump. Yeah.
A fall. That's what it said. You don't have a fall.
Yeah, the term escapes me right now. But get you a grinder pump, and what that grinder pump will do, and I have a sample in there, but we don't necessarily have to go there. I know we got some other things to talk about.
Go ahead. You good, man. You roll.
But that grinder pump will take all things coming down through your toilet into a pit, grind it up, and make it a water substance, and then it will flow easily. But again, some of those grinder pumps are not designed again to dissolve hand wipes, clothing items. One of the clippings I sent you, a video, that's that one that seems like it chews up everything. In fact, I'm going to take a look at those things and see whether we can get some. But
hey, I want to say something, but I need to get some legal clearance.
So this is actually your mechanical. I mean your snake, your power generated snake.
Oh, that's what that is.
That's what he was just using. And so that inside of that well, in that orange part there, is that cable that's could be 7,500 feet long, and that's what snakes in and break up the clog in your system. And so that's that's one thing there. That's what the guy was just using. But that the grinder pump is a different animal. And if you find yourself, 50, 75 yards away from the main sewer line, and you don't have the right gravity feed, then you may want to invest in a grinder pump. Yeah, I talked a little bit earlier about Chief going to retire here soon, and just some it looks like some photos that were taken. That's him there in the white shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we'll talk more about him. We're gonna send him off well, but 53 years serving as a volunteer firefighter. Firefighter. And for the last I can't remember how many he's been the chief. It's probably been 8 years. I'm not sure, probably a little bit more. But he's been the chief for our fire department, and I think one of the best in the state. These guys cover our low towns plus another 6 mile radius of the county's area, as well as we also assist Williamsburg County when there's issues on the close to the town. So you're doing a lot of heavy lifting, man. And so we'll be looking for to replace him soon.
All right,
that's what we want to get at here on the local level. We're still working hard, trying to make things a little bit easier, and there's a lot of ground, man.
Mayor, listen, I know that $600 doing you good, all right? But let me get some ads in, sir. He's ready to roll, y'all. Y'all got to work too hard for that 600. Let me try to get us some more money in here, bro. Like, all right. Listen, before we go to the next thing, I want to get something in here real fast. Here we go.
This May, Kingstree, South Carolina becomes a place of remembrance and reflection. Join us for a powerful two-day commemoration marking the 60th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s 1966 call to march on ballot boxes. Together, we honor the past, examine the promise, and shape the future. Friday, May 8th and Saturday, May 9th, 2026. For more information, contact C. Williams Rush at 803-397-1859.
All right. Also, and part of why I'm wearing this jacket is because I am on the board of this event right here. You know what I mean? A board member.
The truth comes out, huh?
Hey. I'm talking about, I got an official title now, man. Like, let me button my jacket up for the title. I am public relations. Oh my goodness.
Oh, man. So they're still working with you, huh?
Yeah, so this is my image consultant called and was like, "Hey, look, if you got a jacket, throw it on you." I mean, all that, So, but no, man.
Well, that's good. So you were the SC-250?
Well, the SC-250 wrapped in there, man. But I was part of a great conversation last night, man, with some heavy hitters in in the world of historians. You know what I mean? I was invited by Miss Cassandra and Pilor, who were working, you know, who were heading this, and also Mr. Joseph McGill from the Slave Dwelling Project. Yeah, and Miss Charity Muhammad, and we had a, you know, very productive meeting, and I learned a lot, man, about that whole situation. To where, I mean, even started to learn about the backstory about how it came to be that Dr. Martin Luther King was there that day. You know, some of the stories, like, you know, these guys went and they went there with the intention of bringing him back, and they weren't leaving until he agreed to come back. And then, you know, and then prior to that happening, Sandra was telling us stories about how the KKK came down, was riding through the neighborhood and making a big stir, and, you know, ahead of him coming. So this was a real turning point in the history of King Street. Now, I would say that ad that I just did, that was just something I put together. You know what I mean? I got a call already saying that they don't like the ad. You know what I mean? But, you know what I mean? I work for some. No, they didn't say that.
Very particular, which they should. And I will tell you, you mentioned that you learned something through that experience. 2 weeks ago, I believe, I had the opportunity to go and be a part of the this black tie event that kind of highlights the Gullah Geechee corridor. And again, one of the young ladies you mentioned,
I met one of the gentlemen that put that together. So when I drive into Andrews, I apologize for cutting you off, but I gotta get that in there.
Yeah.
When I drive into Andrews, you know, I feel a sense of pride when I like, all right, boom, I'm going in. You know what I mean? This is our little part of the nation or whatever.
See, you having that same experience. What you describing there is what happened to me, because I think we get so caught up into what's in our lane, and so focus on it, we forget about our, you know, not forget about our culture, but we don't take an opportunity to dive into certain areas. And I know I'm a proud black man, I always will be. But when I'm sitting, but my profession was, you know, the Army, to focus on this stuff. And so I didn't spend a lot of time. I didn't take any, you know, Black History Month, Black History courses. Should have, because sitting at this event that night around all of this, you know, these brilliant people, man, I'm talking doctors, and you don't have to be a doctor, like Pilor Richards, very smart, bright young lady on our culture, and it's sitting in and taking it in. It let me know, first of all, you need to go back and pick up some books and start to understand, you know, some of this stuff here about your heritage. You got to, you know, we need to spend time in it if we're going to teach that and keep this alive.
Well,
we're the ones.
More than keeping it alive, it's what keeps us alive, because I think that's the missing portion with these young brothers, these young, and I'm talking, you know, what we're always talking about, the gun violence. They're not connected to nothing. Like, even from just hearing that story last night, I'm like, damn, you know, I'm hearing names that I've always grew up hearing, and it's that connection to, you know, like the problem. Like I said, ain't nobody talking to grandma them no more.
Right. Nobody's taking the time to sit on the porch and absorb this knowledge. And here we are. We're very blessed that many of them are still around. I mean, people are living longer, 80, 90 years old.
Walking
and
museums.
we're just walking right past them. And again, to include myself. And so that was an awakening for me. You know, had some of the best artists. In fact, I end up very fortunate, you know, in silent auction. I got a big, nice, you know, woodcraft, you know, that I have to learn now. What is all this about? Because this man spent, I've forgotten, pillow parties. I don't know if she's on how long he did crafting this thing. In fact, it's right now here in Town Hall and just on display. And so, I mean, just a fantastic piece of work. And I don't, you know, I told the artist, I said, when I came in, I saw it, I was immediately drawn to it. And I said, hey, look, I'm taking this home with me tonight. He said, you are? I said, yeah. And I was fortunate enough to, you know, put the right bid in and got it. But it was difficult for him to walk away from it. So I know he put his heart and soul in as he was talking about all the details that went into this piece, that was represented on there about our culture and these things that, you know, we've talked about it. We lived on we lived and survived off the earth. We've gotten away from that. A lot of healing that had nothing to do with a drugstore. And so again, I'm inspired. I was, you know, in the right place at the right time. We're going to continue to do that, and you know, and I welcome others. And I think we need to do probably a show that's specifically on things of that nature.
I you know what I've been saying, and I'm here. I am looking at the Heritage Festival. You know, I like to party, but I think that's we need to add that to that. We need to have a tent where people can bring, you know, different parts of their heritage, their family history. If you want, you know, you want to share and because again, that connection is what's, you know, what's missing is that these people are not connected to anything.
You wait till you know, the rest of us wake up and see how involved we were in the revolution. You talked about the SE-250 and this 250th anniversary of the Revolutionary War, and see what our role was there too. A lot of folks don't think we were a part of it.
And man, I've crawled down a rabbit hole, and so I can this a working thing, but I'm fascinated by two characters in particular, and the whole dynamic of during that time, you know what I mean, 1776, you had a free man, and then you had an enslaved man. And I'm interested in what motivated the both of them to fight. You know what I mean? Because we can't, me personally, I don't think we can take our modern whatever way of thinking and kind of say, well, what was he thinking? You know what I mean? Like, and I want to know. I'm trying to learn. You know what I mean? Because
and I think if you're talking, I don't know if you're talking Oscar and Francis Marion relationship, but I think even back then and now, it's about trust.
It had to be.
It's about trust in your ability to do what's necessary to accomplish whatever you're out to get. If you trust this man, you could have your brother. There's some people that have brothers you don't trust, you know, as much as a guy that you've been in some really heated situations with. So it's about trust that Oscar and Francis Marion fought as this, you know, this,
because that's where my research is leading me, because the more I learn about Francis Marion, the more I learn about Oscar Marion, because the truth is Oscar was right there when he was making them daring escapes and doing all this, you know what I mean, bad boy stuff. He had Oscar and them boys going up front doing, you know what I mean, doing whatever role they had, and it wasn't like, hey, you do this, hey, because it wasn't time for none of that. It was again a matter of trust, a matter of brotherhood, and I think again because they just as I'm learning, they just recognizing Oscar Marion.
But I'll tell you, whatever motivated them back in 1776, in 1990, in 2003, here I am again. I'm on the battlefield, and to my left and right are men and women that doesn't look like me, but I trust them with everything, and they trusted me. So whatever, so that is, I think, the nucleus of people coming together, regardless of what your, you know, your background, what your skin color is. If you trust someone that's going to do what's right and be there for you, be there with you, that may be what it is that's carried over these 250 years, if not more.
Yeah,
and if you didn't trust that person, because again, you can't cover it all on that battlefield. So if you can't trust that man or that woman to your left or right to cover your six, I mean, like you were talking about,
Thomas Carter. Listen, Thomas is about to take me on a journey, man.
Yeah,
Thomas been at Monmouth. Thomas been at Brandywine. Thomas was at. This brother was like getting it in, like, and I mean, made it from all them battles up, the famous battle up, you know, Valley Forge and all this stuff here. He's documented being there, and then to be miles from where I am now.
Yes.
And so last night too, also sitting there, man. I don't went all the way down this history thing, but last night, one of the gentlemen who was sitting in there listening to the, well, he was part of the meeting, and I can't recall his name, but he's from '96, and he don't know he about to be in the documentary too.
Exactly. Another
yeah,
historical,
man.
historical fighting ground. So really, I think that is, if you trust someone and you know they're capable of doing the job, you don't care what they look like. I
At the end
mean,
of the day,
the gentleman whose name is on, the VA hospital you're talking about, he jumped on a hand grenade. Do you think he looked around and said, okay, is it just black guys around me? No, it was in him, his duty, and what his commitment, dedication to what they were doing. He dove on that hand grenade.
For context, it was a white gentleman that was right there beside him. You know what I mean? And I think the gentleman lives in the Pawleys Island, Litchfield area.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Older gentleman, obviously, but that was that. It wasn't. And you're looking at a time again through all of the challenges and whatever. You're looking at a time during that time. What was going on during the time of Vietnam? You know what I mean? America was in turmoil. I mean, even them guys got, like we talk about, got mistreated when they came back home.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And even in the midst of all of that, you know what I mean? It's just that humanity thing, just you know what I mean? Just that's what trumps all. Excuse me. No.
Don't make that a segue from you now. That's a buzzword. Don't make the transition to
hey, listen. That's a professional. That's a.
I said it's a segue. I was about to lean in.
No doubt, man. So listen, before we do that, because let's go national here a little bit. But since you brought up,
but I think to put a bow in this thing, man,
again,
we're back to service members and how they treat each other, how they take care of each other, and if we can take that and pour that into communities, you'll learn how to love thy neighbor. If you went through what any service member, whether it's basic training, that was it. It doesn't matter. It teaches you how to love, respect, and trust the next person, regardless of their background.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, bro, you just trying to get the job done. You don't care who it is, man. Okay, whatever. Come on.
Yeah, let's move. So
no doubt.
Hey, it's good topic. I think we just need to we'll do a piece exclusively on that topic.
No doubt, because the stolen valor conversation is heating up. But
yeah, I saw a piece on that. Yeah.
But here we go.
Most people know the building. Most people say the name, but very few people know the story behind it. The Ralph H. Johnson Veteran Affairs Medical Center in Charleston, South Carolina, isn't named after a politician. It's not named after a donor. It's named after a young Marine who made the ultimate sacrifice. Ralph Henry Johnson was just 19 years old, a United States Marine, a Vietnam War veteran, a kid from South Carolina who answered the call. In June of 1968, during combat in Vietnam, Johnson's unit came under attack. Grenades began raining down. Ralph Johnson didn't hesitate. He didn't look for cover. He didn't think about himself. He threw himself on the grenade. He gave his life so others could live. For that act of courage, Ralph H. Johnson was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, the highest military decoration in the United States. So every time a veteran walks through those doors, every time a family finds care, every time a life is saved inside that hospital, they're walking into a place of true valor. Not a name on a wall, not just a sign on a building, but a story, a sacrifice, a reminder of what service really means. So the next time you hear the name Ralph H. Johnson, ask yourself, did you know his story?
Step into a night where elegance meets purpose. The 5th annual Keep the Beat Masquerade Gala is coming soon. Dress in your finest attire and mask for an unforgettable evening of music, celebration, and heart-healthy awareness. This is more than a gala, it's a movement. Tickets are limited, So secure yours today and be part of a night that truly keeps the beat.
Yep. So
Hmm.
heating up on the national level, we got old
Woo.
Madurez
Man.
locked up. That happened fast. Like, I mean, that's how we doing now. We just rolling up in another person's country and said, "Hey, come with us."
Listen, I spent a lot of time kind of looking at things and again trying to use, the different lenses to fully understand it. And you have to do your research. I think everybody agreed he's a bad guy, and that's Nicholas Maduro, or whatever his name is, from Venezuela. So but it's not. And to answer your question, your first question, no, this was not a spur of the moment thing. This was a very difficult,
Years in the work,
complex operation, probably much more complex than what happened and what we did to Iran when we struck Iran's nuclear capability. This one had 150 aircrafts involved, special operations and all that stuff, and all of it, and again over pretty extended distance. And you hear the debate going on, and it's hard to. It's very difficult to put it in perspective. He needed to go, and this is not the first time. But here's the thing: so if you're a bad guy out here, you're a dictator, and January 3rd is approaching, you probably need to go to ground somewhere.
Hey.
Noriega, about 35 years ago, January 3rd, 1990. He was snatched out of Panama. I think it was Operation Just Cause on January 3rd, same day, same time of the month that this guy got plucked out of Venezuela. So from the military perspective, superb operation, excellent planning and execution. And again, these special ops guys are the best in the world. We didn't lose. Very fortunately, we didn't lose any troops. I think one of the choppers took some hits, but it was able to get to return back to base. And then we started looking at the politics of it all. I think what matters to me is the intent. What is the intent, and then what is the end game?
I think the intent, and again, this has been. They've been eyeing Venezuela since it's been established that they had the largest oil reserve in the hemisphere.
Well, let me ask you this though. So is it resources?
Yes.
Or is it drugs?
It's both. I mean, let's be honest about America now. Let's be honest with who we dealing with. We gangsters, man, and we got the Israelis rocking with us too. Like,
but.
I'm not saying it's right, but that's what this is. At least I'll give them on this one. They just like, if you're gonna be a gangster, be a gangster.
Well,
there's some laws out there. I agree with it. Yes, and there's laws.
There's laws that you have to operate by. But again, let's go back. Is it what kind of drugs are we talking about?
It ain't the fentanyl. We talking cocaine coming from cocaine and marijuana coming out of Venezuela.
But what I'm hearing is that it was fentanyl. I think right now the majority of fentanyl is coming through Mexico. Not Venezuela. So yes, you're right.
Not through South America. That's
right. So I think sometimes, and that's when the narrative is kind of fuzzy, that confuses us on us regular folks on what it is we're doing, because this is a big deal to go in and snatch, whether he was a bona fide president or not, he was sitting as a president in a country. That's the sovereign nation.
And that's the power of propaganda, because according to Hollywood, these Spanish countries are drug cartels. You know what I mean? According to the way that they're depicted in Hollywood.
Right. I'm tracking. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so
and you'll see a lot of it coming through. But again, who is the feeder, even for the cocaine? CIA. we know where the fentanyl is
The
coming from.
Central Intelligence Agency is the feeder of it.
There was
We
a part
are the master of manipulation. We are the masters of.
Okay, you're still talking about that part. I'm talking about now the drug itself is which is manufactured where? China, I think.
China. There you go.
Yeah.
The precursors to fentanyl. Again, they don't send it across as fentanyl. They send it in parts, and then I guess then they construct it, and then it becomes fentanyl.
Yeah. So I won't. I don't want everyone to get confused. I'm not going to sit here tonight and try to second guess our national leaders in terms of whether they're politically correct or not. I think that's going to play out. We have, there are procedures to get to this level of operation when you involve military and that kind of business. I think a bigger issue, as I was looking at this, really spending some time on this thing this morning, is that in order for this amount to be, look at the demand. Look at the demand. So what are we doing about curtailing the demand that we have for this thing in the United States?
Nothing. We're changing suppliers.
Okay. So all of that stuff coming over to kill our citizens.
Yes.
What are we doing? What is the effort that we're putting in place to now educate and keep our folks on? Because again, they can bring it over here, but if you're not exposed to it, and if you don't know, and you don't know that trying this thing, and I think there's a very small dose of this fentanyl that will have you hooked, one hit.
Well, and this
where are we teaching this at to our kids and our adults?
We're not. We're and this is my opinion. We're playing games because the reality is what you're hitting at is spot on. Like it's a matter of life and death. Okay, in the Black community, we need 2.4 like babies to be born a day. That we're at like 1.7. Okay, so we're not doing anything, but the government is making moves to do things to replace the people. I had that conversation with some
You're
folks
talking in terms of the population.
The population, because we're not replacing ourselves. We're not having kids. We're not. You can go to some of these churches and you will see it. Evidence. Churches and different organizations is dying out. It's aging out. I should say, not dying out. It's aging out, right? And again, you can go get the Narcan. You feel what I'm saying? You can go get that. Like, yeah, you can get truckloads of that. But again,
we got to get ahead of this thing. And in probably in many cases, it's an individual, decision. If you're college kids and you're out here partying and all this stuff is around, we have to make better decisions, because if we didn't have a high demand for this substance,
absolutely,
then it wouldn't be sitting here.
Exactly, it would be no need, and that's always been the issue. Like America gets high.
You see,
you know what I mean? That's. I was watching some things, man, and some of these bigger cities where the fentanyl is. I mean, you don't even have to go to the bigger cities. You can see it right around us, where it's just. I don't think the government tinfoil hat. I think that they just like with the schools. If they wanted the schools to improve, they would improve. Not, you know what I mean? That's they're getting what they want. So let's.
So this is something like anything else. This is a pandemic in my mind. This is a problem that's across America. So then, and when it's that widespread, then it becomes a government problem to solve in terms of putting resources. Not all of it.
How about this, Mayor? Every time the government declares war on something, it gets worse.
Well, change the narrative. You're right.
They declare war on poverty, and you know what I mean, and people getting poor. You know what I mean? They declare a war on drugs, and America's getting high on lethal drugs now. Like, what is it in somebody's brain that say, you know what? Let me try this thing right here. It might kill me.
Yeah. So we're amateurs at this level talking about it. So we need to bring in some folks who can help, because again, I believe we're on track in terms of we have to make it less of a demand in our country so they can go somewhere else, or make it's no longer needed. No one is owning it. No one is using it.
Yeah,
You know,
and
and I know that's
yeah,
wishful
that's big picture thinking, but that's the essence of it. We're the best customer,
right.
so I mean, if ain't nobody gonna send their dope if it ain't selling.
Right. So we know, again, back to Venezuela, we know that Venezuela is have the largest oil reserve, 303
Absolutely.
billion.
Absolutely.
We know that. We
And
know
they got good oil and good
Right.
cocaine.
Yeah. So we know that's there, but then let's put the rest of the pieces together. And again, then we'll get to this point where now the message now coming from the top gets a little confusing, because if it's the drugs, got it. If it's the bad guy that's hurting people over there, got it. Get him out of there. But we're talking now resources. Now I know we've invested. I don't know how much we've invested into that infrastructure over there. The infrastructure is the lap, it's falling apart because they went from
It's ours now. That's
Yeah.
ours now.
from producing 3 million a day to now 1 million.
Mhm.
And so then here's the other piece of that. Russia and China is there.
It's split.
So I think so we can all understand the interest in there. You have to really dig down in this thing. It's not just it's the oil, that's the centerpiece. But then if they get control of it, and now they've rebuilt
Yes,
Venezuela, and their friends now, where does that leave?
and so like you said, that's that proxy war type thing happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then folks ask you, what's going on in Greenland? Why are we talking about taking Greenland now? I mean, we just can't go around and keep jagging people and say, hey, give me your land.
Hey,
Imagine somebody coming into your house and say, hey, you're not a good father. I'm coming in to run this thing.
As long as Tupac and Suge Knight in office, Tupac being Netanyahu and Suge Knight being Trump, death row, baby. Hey, you're still young.
Oh, man.
Them boys there. I'm talking about, man, and they got social media so jacked up now to where like TikTok it's not even worth being on it now.
I think that is probably one of, we know fentanyl is having this impact on us, but social media, it is
freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech.
That's what they fought for back in 1776. It wanted to be free, okay? That's what freedom looked like.
And that is the thing. And so when I was done this morning, kind of doing my research and just kind of thinking through this thing, not necessarily for tonight only, just really trying to understand what are we doing, where are we going, and what's going to be the impact. It hit me, dude. We're involved in a psychological warfare.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not just for these operations across there. And you talk about the media. The media is the main weapon. That is the weapon of mass destruction.
Absolutely.
And how it's used, and how it's employed by whether it's a particular party. Now we know we use it in the military. That's a part of it. That's a very effective capability we have in the military. But
first thing we want control communication.
Control communication. You and I must be read the same, but you're exactly right. And then what do you want? And if you say it enough time, if because again, we get a little lazy as Americans, we won't go out. We'll wait for a sound bite coming off of a TikTok or something else to feed us information. And it's really the story that party or that person wants to tell that you digest it. And now you out there trying to have an intelligent debate, and you're not accurate at all.
No, and this is to
and
me,
that's
like
what
you
happens
said,
in these parties.
you say psychological operation, you dead on, and that's where it is with that, because you got a lot of like the want and the desire to do, like I said, extended research is not, you know what I mean. We're ready to get, as soon as it feel good, we're ready to run with it. You know what I mean? And
that's an all thing we do. So it's okay to, put a 10-second delay between what you think and what comes out of your mouth, and then go do some research.
Mm-hmm.
And that's across the board, regardless of whatever it is. Especially in this. And that's why, because had I not looked at this thing and look at it differently, I would have come in here with a different perspective. I would have been outraged about, this military operation and why it wasn't. No, but it is things. That part is fine. Even the political stuff, I understand it. I understand. We just have to see now how this thing unfolds. And you look at what is the second and third order effects of what we've done. Now you now
better be careful. You better be careful traveling down to South America. I mean, that's one of them effects, because I mean that's what we do. That's what we do.
But the part is not being discussed. And being on the ground when we, again in 2004, when we got Saddam out of Iraq, maybe the folks back here say, "Yep, this is all good. We've already toppled, the statue and all's down. Everybody's going to be." No, that's when the chaos begins.
Because the media. See, that's what I'm saying. We sit back here watching these damn generals online give us this war, on the news, and it's packaged well and everything is neat, and then you find out 20 years later, them people was tripping the whole time.
Listen, when you unplug, because what you do, you disrupt. It's a corrupt system, but it's a system that these citizens out there have learned now to live with. They're probably getting as much food as they need, not all. So when you unplug this guy, it's like when we pulled Saddam out of there, all hell broke loose. Mm-hmm. It was people everywhere. Nobody was afraid now to move as they were, led to move. Everything was out. People didn't have food because they had them on a system. And so now they were looking at us. So now, to win the hearts and minds of these people that we did the right thing by removing this guy, we now we have to have a system that's ready to go in place, that these people will not be starts to suffer. And that's what now the conversation is ongoing now regarding what's happening on the ground in Venezuela.
I tell you what,
there's nobody in control.
I'll give you an example of what Venezuela is. Venezuela is the playbook, the same playbook Hillary and Barack employed in Libya when they deposed Gaddafi, right? We move. That's our thing. If you don't rock with us, we gonna change you.
Yeah, but I think the difference is there was a plan to fill, again, to make sure that the people doesn't suffer. All those resources goes away.
But again, today, right now, we don't hear nothing about Libya in the mainstream media. Libya is they left it in chaos.
Yes,
because again, like you said, you take a strong leader away, and you don't want to say, "God damn, we need to put Saddam back," but you understand, like, okay, I understand why he had to rock the way he had to rock, because these people are tribal, and
so to say that we're in charge, no, we're not. We're there. We're there, and we're around out in, we have this, we have a battleship, I think, that's out there, and a carrier or whatever, and you have special ops on the ground, but we're not in charge. They're not in charge because they don't even know. I mean, the young lady who won the Nobel Peace, I can't remember her name. She's in Russia. So now everybody, and I'm sure there's going to be looting and all kind of thing going, because now everybody's I'm going to get what I've been denied for all these years, because now the bad guy's not here. And I will tell you, when we were on the ground in Iraq, man, all these mansions and whatever, this guy had, Saddam had it all. Man, these folks were coming in there, he had the gold toilets. These people literally walking by us. They were, the light lines that were on fire, were burning, with all the copper. They were taking all that. And so one of the orders came down and said, "Hey, stop them from looting." How are we going to do that? And then in my mind, I'm like, these folks have been denied all this stuff. Let these folks, this is impossible to control. It's literally impossible. We had an entire division, the 3rd Infantry Division. I think there was one Marine division on the other side. That's not enough forces to control what you let these cats out of the bag. These people are going to now try to get things to survive. They have been denied all these years. So I can imagine. I don't know if Venezuela is at that point right now. We'll get there. You unplug
in a situation like that. Say in Venezuela, when you got this kind of turmoil, I know it's a different situation, but do you have the prisons empty during this time? Like when a country goes into breakdown like that, what is that? You know what I mean? I don't think, yeah. What is that?
All of that,
look?
everything is out of whack. And I will tell you, and I think it was a part of their plan in April of 2003. So we've already occupied, we've taken the airport, we're there. And so we started seeing now all of these prisoners that we caught, tagged, these guys are back in the population. Now I think it was a part of their, everybody's out. So they're now releasing them back into the population to become fighters again. I mean, we would recapture these guys that had already been tagged as a prisoner of war. And so you got all of that happening. And again, I don't know how things are unfolding in there, but I know from experience on the ground. And what is it? 96 hours after this mission happened, everybody's not going to bed and resting and saying we're all good.
So is the situation, and from what you came up with in Venezuela, is it neutralized? I mean, because they got this guy obviously in prison in New York and his wife. So what is it that you're hearing that's going on the ground?
And I haven't gotten much on the ground. I was still at the level at the level where president's trying to figure out, because again, if you don't have, and as it was stated, there's the regime that's coming in or supposed to be there, there's some level of corruption there too. So then who is a legitimate president? I think it was Gonzalez. I think his name is Gonzalez. So he's sitting out here because Nicholas wouldn't let him in. Yep. Nope. You guys are not. It wasn't a fair election. So he's sitting on the side.
So we obviously support the new guy.
Not necessarily. President said that even the young lady who won the Nobel Peace Prize and that kind of business, he said, well, they don't respect her and she's not a strong leader. So then now, and so the reporter asked him, well, who's in charge? He said, I am, as he was getting on Air Force One. Gangster. That's some OG stuff right there, man.
California.
And I think that's the part that makes us look like we're just being bullies. So I think after an operation like that, we have to, it's the narrative have to be the fact that we're working with the leaders of that country, and trying to now to, do this complete regime change, get the right people in. But if you look over history, every time we help one get in, we got to go back later and take them out.
Yes, that's
everyone.
What we do. I mean,
everyone.
That's our policy, man.
And that's just the way it is. But I think we need more of that and less of I think bragging about the military operation, because that's done. That's out. We've done our part. Those guys are back prepared for the next mission. Right now, it's the diplomacy and politicians working across over there to make sure that these people are good. And maybe they can work out an agreement where there's some fair trade or whatever going on with the oil, as opposed to saying, we're going to take that, we're going to give you some, then we're going to Greenland, we're going to take Greenland. Then we're going back over to Nigeria, where we just bombed, and get the resources they have there. Now, what does that look like on, when you start? It doesn't make us look like we're trying to work to help these countries get healthy.
I can guarantee you, we're not trying to win no PR contest on this.
No.
And I'm gonna just say this right here. They can. This is a Hispanic country, right? Where machismo really matters. And so this is the lady right here, the quote unquote president who's in Russia.
I think that's I had her name written down.
Delcy Rodriguez.
Yeah, she's there now. Yeah, she's actually the vice president. She's the vice president. Yeah, and she is the one that, again, President Trump is not, in line with. She's in charge, and she's demanding the release of
Maduro. Yeah, she ain't gonna be that long.
I don't think she's gonna be the one to get that we work with.
Nah, we're not doing that.
So that's a problem for itself.
we ain't working with women in America, so you know we ain't working with none of them bras. I'll just keep it at 100. Like, I mean, they can play. I remember they tried that in India with Miss Butu or something like that. They ended up giving her the Charlie Kirk.
Yes, but hey, you're right. They're giving our women leaders a hard time. They're not giving them a chance. And if that country is that who they elect, you gotta let it ride. I mean, look at all the controversy. Look at all the controversy around the 2020 election.
That sounds good, but we got the number one military in the world, and the big boys up there in Washington. When they say, "Hey, listen here, hey, them boys like B.D. Siegel in that movie, lay down, you can lay down, you can get down, you can lay down." That's just how it's gonna be with America.
And you're right, but again, perception and how we're seen and how we handle this thing really matters across the world.
Bro, you know who we got in the White House?
Hey, I know.
Okay, so perception. Hey,
listen, but the problem with that is that it makes it very dangerous for everybody else when all of these bad guys now, and here's the other thing too. There's a pattern. So there were little hints dropped along the way that we were going in.
Yes.
And as I went back, just want to look at it, I said, and that to me, that's a security and operational breach right there when you start to. So now.
Well, your boy, Pete Hegseth, he blew it. That little when he shot the boys on that boat, he blew it. Listen, we had it. Oh, hey, the bad guys, look, they running drugs, you know what I mean? But he got overzealous because you always have one of them in the bunch. He got overzealous, drunk with power.
What do you think Senator Graham said the other day? He said Cuba. He called him out.
Hey, Lindsey Graham, I don't want to hear nothing.
So all of that that may be cute, but it's not helpful. It's dangerous.
No, it is.
It's dangerous to do that. From a operational, all of it, strategic, right down the tap. It is dangerous for that kind of information to get out, or either an idea that this is going to be our next target, because then the guys who then have.
Hey, Mayor, when you put a TV host at the head of the damn military, something like if you put me, a podcaster, at the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, hey, and I go, something might go wrong. Hey, I say this all the time on this podcast: elections have consequences. So unless people feel this, because they don't move until they feel it, then we'll carry on, lazily and you know what I mean, and boom, Mark Rubio will be president next.
Hey, listen, I think he's number 5 in line, but again, he's got. I just pray that we handle things better in the open, in the media, in how we. I know it probably won't happen. It probably won't happen. But I'm gonna tell you, we've been very fortunate with the operations we ran. We can't continue to telegraph our next move.
We got to get rid of Pete, bro. Pete, I mean,
can't do that. We can't.
That's Pete's the problem. But without Pete, we can't do it. You know what I mean?
The other part of that, now you got an election coming up this year. So everybody who is now coming up now wants to say, hey, I'm a part of the cool kids club, so I'm gonna get out here and say things that are whatever this is gonna get me reelected. That's not okay when you're dealing with,
to borrow a term from the Orange Man, the midterms is going to be a bloodbath, but it's going to be the other way. It won't be the Republicans winning this time. It'll be the other way. We're about to experience another shift. There's a lot going on in the Republican Party, a lot.
So then the question becomes, then if that's the outcome, then how do you move the pendulum back to a place where it's, because it's going to be very different.
Yeah, and I don't know that happens. I think if this thing is real, like it's supposed to be real and it's not, a game, like it's gonna take an alternate party, because it's just where I'm at now. I've become so settled. This is like, again, with what's happening in the Republican Party right now is that you got the young folks are genuinely on this American first, and I mean it's not on no, we don't like, but they because they're looking around and they're saying, well, damn, we getting kind of phased out. That's a new word that's been coming around. People getting phased out. The thing is, if you just noticing that you're getting phased out, your ass is done.
So you're phased.
Yeah, you done. You know what I mean? You cooked. And so the party is splintering over a lot of different things. One, but the main thing being that the messaging, these folks they bought the, they believed in it, and it's, America first. Okay, America first. And like now, it's not a lot of, and that's what I'm saying. The gangsters up there right now, they don't give a damn about no midterms. Them boy got work to do. And again, until the other side or somebody else realizes what's going on, we'll keep playing these damn games. And but it's gangster business up there in 1600.
I'm gonna tell you, it's different what we've ever seen. And you don't want to miss, you don't want to get, or once you get people with some very serious capabilities antsy, if you know what I mean. Because we bombed 8 locations here in the last 12 months. 8.
Yeah, but and it's just like it's like that Draymond Green bullying. Like, we ain't really fighting. We ain't going at nobody really that's gonna swing back. You know what I mean?
But if I'm the guy sitting over here, I'm like, okay, where am I on this? Where am I on this chart? Am I next? And do I sit back and wait for it? Because I heard one. I think it was an AI thing, but it was very interesting. And it had, I think, one of the Chinese ministers or whatever. He said, "We may not fire first, but you're not going to fire second."
Yeah, but China is stated that they don't plan to fire at all. They don't have to. Look at your technology. Look, you know what I mean? Look at where it's connected to.
Yeah,
like a lot of these products, we're not smart on the technology, man. When you turn these things on, like, we just, we're subject to the technology.
Well, it seemed like, I'm just looking at your name. I just really paid attention to it. It seemed like you're already ready to defect.
Hey, listen, man, it's all image control. It's all, you know what I mean? Like,
just Andres.
Hey.
Like, you already got your bags packed, man. What do you know? Something I don't know?
Hey, listen. I'm already the PR guy, so they might need a special envoy down there. You know what I mean?
Nah, but we ask, seriously, and this is, everybody pay attention to what's going on. Really, some unprecedented things are happening. It's having a ripple effect across, the world. And you just how far will it go before it breaks, and what is going to be the fallout?
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm serious when I say this, because people travel. Better mind what's going on a global level before you start flying off to these different places. You don't want to find yourself in limbo. You know what I mean?
Hey, my passport, I put it back into the safe, man. I'll just keep my driver's license. That's all I need.
That's it, man. Matter of fact, I turned back in that damn the one I needed to fly, the national one. Hell, no, give me my state. Damn, state of South Carolina is That's good enough for me.
As I'm okay right now. We gotta wait for this fall out here and see what's going on. But yeah, hey, good show. Hopefully some of what we talked about was helpful to folks. I mean, it at least generate some conversation, some interest too, to dig into these various things that we've talked about to understand more. Whether it's we're talking about wastewater management, whether we're talking about this sudden cardiac arrest, world issues, global issues that have a local impact. Get involved.
Hey, listen, this the anniversary of when Martin Luther King came to King Street. This is going to be a big event. It's going to be a 2-day event. It's going to be a nice gala. I don't know how you say the word. It's going to be very, very nice. It's going to be the kids are going to be involved. Like, you got some really powerful people, some people that's within the education system in Williamsburg County working on this thing to make this like the event. Because again, we got to make this connection. Like, there should not be a person in Williamsburg County, in Georgetown County, that does not have knowledge of what took place that day and what it took to make it take place, and why was it so important for the men to go down there and sit and say, hey, look, we ain't leaving until we get a commitment for him to come back. What was going on in King Street at the time that that made them make that desperate move like that? And so it's all going to be laid out March 8th, 9th. I hope I'm saying the right dates. In King Street. Listen, you're going to be hearing about it from now until that day. Also, you're going to be hearing about. So go ahead and get your Airbnbs in Seneca for February 28th. That's the date, right?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Get your Airbnb. Seneca up there, Clemson.
I'm collecting my duty as well. We got Dr. Jamie Graham coming this week.
Ooh, I'm slipping.
Yeah, we can't do that. We got to talk about how Dr. Graham is coming here to speak to us and be a part of the MLK program here in Andrews on January 19th. That's a big deal. He got elected. You know the deal.
They try to get me in the middle of that foolishness.
Yeah, you did some work during that campaign.
I did no work. No, I did not. No, I did not. They tried to set me up. I just did a little, I got an interview. I didn't realize, bro, I was getting thinking politics. No, that's politics is
Dr. Graham is a heavy hitter, man.
Yeah,
here from Big Dam, but he's coming home to give us, to be a part of this MLK program on the 19th. So we ask everybody to come out 12 o'clock, Monday the 19th. We assemble here right at Town Hall. And then shortly after, we'll move out with a march down to the MLK Monument, where we will hear from none other than Dr. Jamie O. Graham will speak to us. And that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. And of course, it'll be broadcasted live right here on Andrews the podcast, like no other. We'll have 5 cameras out there, so all you other news agencies coming up with the cell phones, 2026, baby, step it up, baby, step it up. That's all I'm saying. All right.
So hopefully get everybody from Big Dam to come out, everybody from Andrews again. This is a big deal for him to.
That event has been growing annually, man. And the weather's been, even when the weather's been kind of rough,
it's always windy, a little chilly, but doesn't stop us from getting out here and taking some time to reflect back on Dr. King's work, legacy, and how it changed really how we do business. And again, you understand what he stood for, what he fought for, and now you're starting to see some of these things changing, policies, right before your face, things that he fought for and literally died for. It's starting to change rapidly, not slowly, but rapidly, right before us. And again, it just wasn't for African Americans. It was for all that was, underserved or, just forgotten or not included. It has zero to do with any DEI. So, folks, let's get smart about this thing, man, and stop catching on to these buzzwords and trying to place a label on someone. So,
come on, man. Now that's my favorite word. Now I like. I throw that. I be telling McDonald's worker, you got to be DEI.
Man, listen, they have weaponized that acronym, and really all they're saying to you, look, just don't, And again, Dr. King, judge me on my character, man. Content of my character, not. And if you will, if you just got to be fair and honest and respect others. That's really what it's all about.
And that's both ways now.
Absolutely.
That's what I be wanting to hope. Like, we can't expect them to be one way and we're, you know what I mean?
I think that's the beauty of it. It was for, because you remember now, women, when the women, got the right to vote or the opportunity.
And the thing about, I got something about that that's probably not going to be. I don't have a problem with women voting. But I think they need to restrict voting.
You just generally. Yeah.
Generally.
So
have you looked at your tax bill lately?
Yeah.
Okay, because I want to do.
You got to take care of those tomorrow.
I'm gonna do an itemized breakdown on that, and I just don't think everybody should be allowed to vote. I don't think if you own land, I don't think you should be able to vote. You can be a woman. You can be a woman that own land and vote. You know what I mean? You could be.
It's going to be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, I just think that, and I don't think it's not based on racial lines, just based on what they're taking out of what, and I don't care if it's 15 cents, 7 cents, or whatever. You know what I mean? You can't look at it, well, it's only 15 cents. Well, you do that times 500,000 people or 300. You know what I mean? And then you start asking, well, why in the hell am I paying taxes for economic development? And it's not reaching me over here in you know what I mean, in Big Dam.
Yeah, that the number of things that you're paying into has expanded over time here. So it'll be a good conversation. Yeah. Now, whether it should be linked to voting, whether you're a property owner or not, I don't know that.
Oh no, I'm standing on that now. I'm standing on that.
I'm gonna have to be under the weather that night.
Yeah, no. I can't even. I won't even let you come take none of them. You got to remember that. Matter of fact, I'm wearing camouflage that night because I got a great argument for that, right? And it's not based on race now because again,
no, it can't be.
My J.D. Rivers, my great grandmother, her father, in 1882, 24-year-old black man was voting in Williamsburg County.
Okay.
And it's because he was a landowner. So it wasn't based on, you know what I mean? Now they didn't want them voting, you know what I mean, because of the power of the vote or whatever. But I think they need to bring it back to some of that too. We can get back to some of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So we'll reach out to these party chairs and see what they have to say about it.
I don't want to hear that because as a politician, that's perfect. I want the masses to be, you know what I mean? I want the unincorporated masses to vote. Because now you're voting on emotion. You don't have no substantial, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like what you voting for?
Well, I think and it's certainly it would never work because there's so many other issues that impact folks that are not land.
Hey, and listen, you said it'll never work. Trump is the president. So I still got a chance. And if I get in there, I'm telling you right now, he'll be like, boy, he's worse than Bull Connor.
Yep.
Yeah, because everybody don't need to vote. I'm just being straight up and down. I don't need. We need to institute a test. I'm sorry, I had to revisit them things. It is just so. Whenever we get ready to have this conversation, I invite anybody to come in here and bring your argument. Now, don't get all emotional. But we die for the votes. Then why they acting the way they acting now? Since it's so important, you feel what I'm saying? I think if we take it away, for a little while.
Actually, I will be on that show. I'm gonna be with you because I may have to take over if you have to run out from there and seek cover.
Listen, I am going to do some more research on that.
I think the first one might get you might be Kaja.
And listen, yeah, that. Yeah, but I'm just this whole democracy thing, man. It's just overrated. Freedom of speech, all that. We need to rethink all that. You know what I mean?
Hey, while it's changing, because the Constitution is changing right before our eyes.
I feel like if you don't have no real employment, then you shouldn't be able to say anything you want to say.
That balance of power thing, across that's all gone.
Yeah, I mean,
there's centralized now. All the power centralized at the White House.
1600, baby. Orange man.
So you might be able to slip that in there if you send that recommendation up, because everything now is moved to one location. Congress is just they just getting paid up there. They're not effective.
Hey, listen, if Benjamin Netanyahu hear me talking like this, all of a sudden you see some big major commercials start coming in there, just know I got the juice. I'm working with the juice. See, I didn't even say it.
Oh man, it's all good. Hey, I appreciate your time, buddy.
Yeah, man. Yep. Hey, listen, guys, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for hanging in there. Hit that like button and all that good stuff. But see y'all next Tuesday.
In times of trouble, you need someone who knows the law, knows the community, and knows how to fight for you. The law offices of Caesar McKnight, right here in Kingstree, South Carolina, is committed to protecting your rights and protecting your future. From criminal defense, personal injury, to family law. When the stakes are high, experience matters, and so does someone who listens. Call today and get a competent, passionate, and effective legal team on your side. Because when life hits hard, you don't have to go through it alone. The law offices of Caesar McKnight, justice for real people, serving the Kingstree and surrounding South Carolina communities. Call now or visit the website today or stop by for a free consultation.